There are millions of young people growing up who end up unemployed. They're not in education, employment, or training. And they're kind of like in a twilight zone, like in a twilight economy where they have to hustle just to survive.
Many people come from highly traumatized backgrounds, particularly in countries in Africa and South Africa particularly. There's all sorts of elements that they come to school with that need to be attended to deeply.
You don't need to look far to find someone in need in this country. When I met Taddy, when I saw the work that he was doing, I realized that all I had to do to make a meaningful difference was to support Taddy and all of the work that he does.
Education's a lifelong passion, and it was almost like a religion in my family. In 1995, I was already a qualified actuary from my early 20s through the Institute of Actuaries in London, was offered some incredible jobs in the United States, in Australia and New Zealand. And then 2 weeks before emigrating, stayed up all night and decided I wanted to go help young people in South Africa from marginalized families get an education. In the morning, I went to go see my mother, tore up the air ticket. And 1 week later, I was in Alex Township, and I spent 4.5 years in Alex and Soweto. And then this idea struck, why don't we try create the first free higher education institution in the country, really with a focus of getting young unemployed people into high quality jobs.
We as APSA were looking for a partner for our cybersecurity academies, and that's when I first met Dr. Taddy Blecher at the Maharishi Invincibility Institute here in downtown Johannesburg. And we quite liked the philosophy of the Maharishi Invincibility Institute.
Maharishi was an individual who brought out this approach to education that the human being matters as much as what they learn. And that is so obvious to me, and yet it's such a foreign concept in education in the world today. And there's no real focus on the student as this great infinite child of God, who's somebody with infinite potential. If we educate people for skills that are actually needed in a modern economy, we don't need unemployment and poverty. And that's what we set out to prove with this educational journey, was that we could take marginalized and excluded people, 70% of whom do not have a matric exemption or a degree pass, and we could prove that they've got genius in them, that they can still be just as successful as any of us, and that these youngsters can go on and become leaders in our economy.
What we believe Maharishi Institute are bringing to the system that it needs to pay deep attention to is the work on each person in the system, on their well-being, on their understanding of self. And we've seen students coming from deeply challenged backgrounds who are very difficult to manage at first. But within a couple of weeks of undertaking meditation and some of the classes and some of the work that they get given, they change dramatically.
The model is amazing because every student there has to pay a certain amount of money towards their qualification. They're all given the opportunity to do a job within the institute so that they can earn money, so they can feel worthwhile, and they can actually take something home to their families.
They work with youngsters that have come from very difficult socioeconomic backgrounds. And these young students not only emerge from Maharishi with a degree, but also as incredibly mature, well-grounded, most focused graduates who are actually on the top of the employment list of some of the biggest companies in South Africa, which is remarkable.
Last year, September, our first cohort of 19 students graduated from the Cybersecurity Academy, having completed a 3-year program with the Maharishi Invincibility Institute. They subsequently completed a 12-month internship, and they will now be permanently employed in the APSA Chief Security Office from the 1st of October. And that speaks volumes to the method that Dr. Taddy Blecher deploys in the Maharishi Institute to make sure that he creates whole human beings that are ready to face the corporate environment.
we're on just under 25,000 people that we've educated or currently educating. On average, we estimate that a graduate conservatively should earn 10 million rand over their full working career, which means proper housing, proper healthcare, proper education, proper nutrition. Your children grow up. If you educate women, then generations that follow come out of poverty.
Today, Taddy is most probably educated more than 28,000 kids. He has given young people who came out of hopeless backgrounds with no opportunity to even get to university. He's given them opportunity. They've got degrees. They're in fantastic jobs.
When I first met him, and every time subsequently when I meet him, you feel the authenticity of a human being that's got a passion for what he believes in. So it's absolutely incredible being in his presence, because you actually see what they wrote about him over the many years doesn't do justice to the actual individual that Dr. Taddy Blecher is.
I believe many of the problems in South Africa are fixable. Loving young people, caring for them, giving them a chance without you even knowing them, and them feeling that here's like a home away from home. Here's a place where people care for them, will respect them for who they are, people who believe in them. There's infinite potential in every young person, and our job is to help that young person bring that out. It's the intangible that is infinite inside a human being, and I think Jewish people have always known that. I feel so grateful and privileged to do this work, but at the same time, I think we all feel a great sense of urgency that so much has got to be done.